every sincerely concerned person, I absolutely would love it. Okay, I put everything into usually what I do. If I'm sincere, um, but if it's online, I cannot really, I'm gonna lose it, or I haven't found it actually. That's the real equation. Um, I didn't, okay. And most people, their childhood is found for them. Um, and this is as awkward as it gets for me, a very sort of San Francisco Kurt Cobain thing, which is the frontier and the East Coast largely is not, especially if you are very orthodox, continental, um, just a, especially on the East Coast, but again, especially very continental. Okay. You could say Jewish as well, um, or indeed African American. Um, Jimi Hendrix, okay, needed sincere concern. This is um, the scapegoat machine that to realize all this stuff. And so I'll point out a very San Francisco thing. George Michael's having a nice day because he had my neighbor to drive him around, actually. Because I spent a lot of time with them, but they knew very much that I'm not gay. Okay. However, if I had, if it was for, the well-being of the world, okay, and that means having someone who you truly respect by your side, it wouldn't be a problem to support publicly, okay. But if you don't have that better half, I'm in a panic. I just am. And I definitely don't have it where I'm living for the last several years, and nor when I was in Oxford or London. It just absolutely, there's like some really sort of not sincerely concerned people out and about. And I was there trying to connect with people who are sincerely concerned, but not any public conversation. It's really I'm frozen on that, on that public exposure without any sincerely concerned people. Sounds like a very sort of risque, treacherous. Before I left England to come to Ireland about 3 years ago, I met this guy, and he was quite gregarious and a bit drunk, to say the least. He helped me get the connection to get out of there because I had been there for a while, and it was France. I had to leave France when I got to Italy. Wow, nice, because day and night. And there's lots of gay people in Italy. So anyways, this guy who I met in London right before I left, it was really cool. It was really, and a little too much information sometimes, but some of the information which he wasn't too much, which I was really sort of intrigued by, was that he grew up with a single mother and two big sisters, and that he was a prostitute as a teenager, as a kid. He had the needle scars to prove it, basically. And his derangement is, gregarious derangement. He wasn't necessarily unhappy about it, but said his father left his mom for another guy. He was laughing at, so I say that, but that's a really good example, a Kurt Cobain parallel that in a treacherous existence. At least he was a native person. But still, that's even worse, because at least if you have some other identity, maybe you can escape. So I'm trying to do for half my life now. And yeah, I can tell you that if I was with someone who I trusted, I could support a lot of sincerely concerned and qualified people. Okay, not an excuse, not predators, not excuses. And I know that a lot of people, that's all they want. That is. Oh no. That's all we need. We're going to destroy the world or something like that, because George Washington was not in a happy home. Thomas Jefferson didn't even have to leave, because on the frontier, having a big sister, being nominally, noticeably Christian, indeed, I'm being very continental when I say British. The Irish and the English were historically all Catholic and very esteemed and very hopefully civilized. My dad would have beer for breakfast, and then so me too. Okay, in California, oh boy. And it was very escapist, because we weren't in our community. And Kennedy coulda, woulda, shoulda. Say nothing of Teddy Roosevelt, because they're really overlapped extensively. The maritime literary navigation, finding love and protecting sincerely concerned people around the world, and differentiating from predators. And indeed, the sociological frontiers and those who are aware of that. Okay. Jimi Hendrix grew up with his biological father, who really cared. He was, that's talent, effort, passion. It was also dangerous, because it's hard to find any African Americans who grew up with their biological father who lived very long. I have mentioned Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire back in the days, everyone knows. And the story of Barry Bonds' secure childhood, basically, with healthcare provided by the NBA or something like that, and perhaps isolated from the random elements. Kobe Bryant, not so lucky any more than Martin Luther King. You know, healthcare is technically in the family there, but happiness and the promised land just didn't exist. And I really like everything that I see, you know, because I know that if people are sincerely concerned, they want me to be happy, and I think I would be happy. I know my parents, they moved to Atlanta, and I maybe what's the name of the place? St. Louis? No. Little Rock, yes. Maybe that wasn't so safe. I don't know. And the Vietnam War was happening, and if people like George Washington and all my forefathers had a rational place, that's what matters. Okay, and I think that you know, vulnerable people and predators and crazy people, Orlando, Florida, or a synagogue attack, or indeed Christianity's fratricide, actually, which is outside of Christianity. It's largely, well, it was the Holocaust. Okay, that had a good deal of fratricide from the very beginning. Of all kinds, okay? And I quote my Irish friend, my very gay Irish friend, about 15 years ago. Very gay and very charming, that we're friends, because I like charming people. That he knew a guy who was Jewish and also very gay, and this guy was like 90 years old. He would visit him. He would tell me, I want to visit my friend. And that the Nazis captured him and protected him because they loved his charm. Okay? So what, are charming people evil? Huh? Hello? Are gay people? I don't, you know, what? The frontier, perhaps? I know some people just wouldn't go there. I know history of that. Escaping from the frontier, yes. The eastward childhood, that is what that is. Or having a big sister, so you just have Thomas Jefferson's frontier protection. And you don't need that if you're isolated from it's basically, you know, the North Pacific and all of the Americas were originally, you know, ethnically simpatico. And slavery was the contradiction to that, the Buffalo Soldier. And Jimi Hendrix, you know, didn't have the protection that he needed, whether that was a mentor he wasn't in direct competition with. This is, you know, like it or not, families do have competition in them, especially in the Wild West. Maybe it's a place like Seattle. Yeah, if I was with someone who I really loved, and she said, "Well, what do you think?" I'd be like, "Oh, if you say so, let's go." You know, let's go. I don't want to go anywhere by myself. Period. That's a predatory, inverted thing, that suddenly the whole place is choked in smoke, and, scorched world because someone like me can't find love and happiness. George Washington burned over territories. It's supposed to be, oh, this is Christianity. It's actually just foolishness, mismanagement, desperados, and predators. And Thomas Jefferson, on the frontier at that time, just didn't have to go there. And I'd say that New York, the middle colonies, with their tidal ejection, seat, basically, the tides in New York are so convenient to get. You're just almost flung into the Gulf Stream. It worked for Ben Franklin, close enough, perhaps closer, just to escape and not to be entangled in excuses. But if I was entangled in someone who was not an excuse, someone who I loved, I'd go anywhere. Okay? If she was someone who was truly rational, and we scarcely went anywhere, come to me, come to us. Okay?